Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films. And that was one of the Cornet films that we've been scanning. They sent us 9,000 cans of films, give or take. And that was in one of the cans, and that one did not come with a soundtrack. Normally it has a soundtrack, but this was a preprint. So this was something that this would be married to an optical soundtrack and then would be printed to a negative, and they would make prints from that. So they would do that because there would be multiple potentially languages. That's one of the reasons. But beautiful. Obviously not American. Some people are saying they think it's Japanese. I'm not sure. Sometimes we run across actually a Japanese film in the collection that they then use footage from. And so that's happened a couple of times. There's this film called Sea Urchin, which is a Japanese film about sea urchins, and it has a Japanese title and everything. Let's learn about pesticide. Enjoy.
Young lady, are you sure that's what you want? Have you read the directions? Better come with me. Hold it! Better wait for a calm day to do that. Follow me. Don't do that. Remove all food and dishes first. This way, please. Just a minute, sir. That should be done outdoors. Would you please follow me? You're all about to use pesticides, aren't you? Do you know that pesticides can be harmful if you're careless? Always read the label. Follow directions. Use pesticides safely.
There you go. Short little film from the National Archive. I've been working with some of their materials, and that one stood out. A little public service announcement. So we got some more Cornet films here. This one I've shown, but it was like it was in 2020. So I feel like we got a better scan of it, and I would love to show you this prettier scan. Let's make up a story. Enjoy.
What's your favorite story?
Jamie and the Leopard. Curious George. The Snowy Day.
Suppose you wanted to make up a story. You know what you'd have to use?
Your imagination.
With your imagination, you can be anyone. With your imagination, you can go anywhere. With your imagination, you can do anything. First, you have to imagine some characters for your story. Of course, you can use people, real people, or...
Make-believe people?
Mm-hmm. Remember the story of King Midas and the Golden Touch?
Oh, yeah.
He loves his daughter very much, but he loves his gold even more.
King Midas is greedy.
You can also use animals for your characters. Remember this famous story?
The three little pigs.
Right. They're characters. Who else?
The big bad wolf.
You can use other kinds of characters, too. Things.
A lighthouse and a little ship.
Right. And in this story, the characters are...
A lady. An egg beater. Some eggs.
If you were making up a story, there are a lot of characters you could use.
Humpty Dumpty? A scary man. A sailor? A baby duck? Quack, 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 quack.
Next, your story needs a setting. The location for your story. What's the setting in this story?
A big boat. A castle.
Let's imagine some of our own settings. Can you describe them?
Under the sea.
How about inside this beach ball?
That's silly. How about on a planet?
Your setting could even be in the sky.
Oh, brother.
Now that you have a setting and a character, he has to do something, right? What if you were a dinosaur and found yourself in a swimming pool? What would you do? What do your characters do? What happens to them is the plot. For instance, little Tom Thumb has a problem. An evil spider has come into the castle to steal the king's treasure. But Tom has to stop it. Will he win?
Come on, Tommy, go, come on.
The egg beater and the housewife are having some difficulties. The eggs in the carton are his friends. He just can't beat them. How will the egg beater and the housewife straighten out their problem? That is the story's plot. The ugly duckling is so ugly that everyone always makes fun of him. As he grows older, he has no friends or family, and he decides to live all alone. Then one day, when he's swimming in the pond, he looks down at the water and sees... What happens to the ugly duckling is the plot of the story. Greedy King Midas has a big problem, too. He got his wish. Everything he touches turns to gold.
Everything?
Even his own daughter. Now what can he do? He loves his daughter deeply, but he loves his gold, too. What King Midas does is the story's plot. In this story, the town of Hamlin is cursed with thousands of rats.
Yeah.
The mayor promises to pay the Pied Piper anything, if only he'll get rid of every rat. So the Piper charms the rats out of the town and into the forest, never to return. But when he goes to be paid, the mayor won't keep his promise and refuses to pay the piper. What does the Pied Piper do? The way the characters solve their problem is the plot of the story. Imagine a plot from this picture. And this one. Make up some action from this. And this. There's a plot in this picture. And this one.
Hey, that's the moon.
And finally, your story needs an ending. The ending tells what happens to the characters, how the plot is settled. At the end of this story, does Tom Thumb win his battle with the evil spider?
Come on! Get him! Come on! Go! Watch out! Yay!
At the end of The Three Little Pigs, which little pig is wisest? What becomes of the other little pigs? What happens to the wolf? Remember the egg beater that had to beat up his friends, the eggs? What kind of ending would you make up?
She beats the eggs out. Away. She puts them away.
Okay, you've got the idea. Now remember, whatever story you make up, first choose your characters. They can be people, or things, or plants, or animals. Next, what kind of setting do you want for your characters? Be clear. Tell all the little things about it. What's your setting look like? Now, what happens to the characters in your story? That's your plot. Finally, you need an ending for your story. Imagination is your own special world. You can create anything you want there. So, use your imagination. You make up a story.
So that was the equivalent of a clip show on a sitcom. Like they just reused all the footage that they had from other films, and that's pretty great though. But what a weird collage of footage. All right, I'm surprised I haven't shown this, but it's possible they just didn't get listed. But this is The Carnival Comes to Town. Enjoy.
Sally was out helping her mother take down the wash, and she was the first one to see it. Bob was cutting the grass when he saw it. And Peter had just finished feeding his dog. What did they see? The carnival's coming to town in trucks as big as can be. It comes but once a year, and oh, it's something to see. It's something Sally wants to see, all right. Bob wants to see it, too. Peter isn't going to be left out of the fun, either. And neither are we. For here we are at the carnival grounds on the edge of town, just as the big trucks come rolling in. This is where the carnival is going to be. This is the foreman. He's the boss of the men who will set up the carnival. But he's looking for something, and he's worried. You see, another truck should be here, a very special truck. Unless that truck gets here, well, there just won't be any carnival tonight. Now Sally and Bob and Peter are here, and they want to watch. Yes, it's all right, provided they stand over here where they'll be out of the way and safe. All right, says the foreman. Let's go to work. That special truck is still missing, but they can go ahead and unload the trucks. It hardly seems possible, does it? The whole carnival comes out of trucks. This man is starting to set up one of the rides. Could you possibly guess what ride it's going to be? Here comes another part for it, out of a truck. They look like the spokes of a big wheel, but, well, what do you think? We'll see that again later. Right now, our friends are watching some men fastening something to a long pole. That is a wheel turning on a pole. What can this be? Now, when the foreman gives the signal, all the men pull on the rope to raise the pole. Pulling together like this is the way to get a big job done, isn't it? And this is a big job, raising the pole so the wheel will be up in the air. When the ride is ready, the wheel will go round and round. Now, do you think you know what it is? These heavy braces will hold it up. We'll look at this again later. Right now, Peter is thinking about something else. He's thinking how strong the men are and how much hard work they have to do before we can enjoy a carnival. What are they raising this time? Up, up, says the foreman. And up go the two towers, standing close together. Is this going to be another ride? More children are joining us to watch. Everybody likes a carnival. But now look at that big wheel we saw lying on the ground. There's a track on it with platforms that will travel around it. It's called a tilt-a-whirl. Here's that tall pole with a wheel on it. It's the merry-go-round. And here's the floor. Did you ever think that a merry-go-round had so many different parts? Those two towers we saw, why, they're for the Ferris wheel, the tallest thing in a carnival. But will there be a carnival? The foreman is out at the road looking for something. The children there don't know about it. But if that missing truck doesn't come, the carnival can't open. That would make Peter very sad. But there's still time for that other truck to come, and there's still work to be done. Watch how quickly the men work, fastening a seat to the Ferris wheel. There. Now they turn the wheel to the place for the next seat. The children will all want to ride on the Ferris wheel. Here come the merry-go-round horses. It's fun to ride them. And you know, it's fun to draw pictures of them because you can draw whatever kinds of horses you like. Now the canvas top goes on the merry-go-round. Over there at the tilt-a-whirl, the funny seats with the high backs are being placed on the platforms where they can turn about as they go up and down around the track. The tilt-a-whirl is ready to go. But the men are leaving it. Why don't they turn it on? Try it out. The merry-go-round is finished. Why is it dark and still? The Ferris wheel is ready too. But why aren't the lights turned on? It's all because that special truck hasn't come. Will it get here in time? Peter is wondering about all this too. Is the carnival nearly ready to open? Not yet, says the foreman. But the work goes on. Up go the canvas stands for the refreshments and the games, the fish pond and darts, throwing baseballs and tossing rings. These things are part of a carnival too. But now the children have to know that there may not be a carnival. Everything depends on that missing truck. Do you know why? Do you know what kind of truck we're waiting for? Here are prizes for the games. Animals to stretch and shove. Dolls for girls all ages. Toys most any child would love. And parakeets in cages. If only the truck would come. If only... Look, is that the truck we're waiting for? Yes, that's it. The truck from the electric light company. It takes electricity to light the lights of the carnival and to run many of the motors. Here are the wires that will carry electricity to all the rides and stands. Do you know what this man is going to do? Of course you do. Now the wires are connected, and everything's ready. The lights on the merry-go-round go on. Hurrah! It's going. And listen, music is part of a carnival, too. The tilt-a-whirl is starting. Around and around go the cars, tilting and whirling. What about the lights on the Ferris wheel? Yes, they work. Everything works. There will be a carnival tonight for the children to enjoy. And now Sally and Bob and Peter are going to have the very first ride on the Ferris wheel. Have you ever had a ride on a Ferris wheel? Could you tell about it? About how it feels to go up, up in the air? And about what you see? What else could you tell about a carnival that came to your town? Oh, the carnivals come to town. It's bright and gay as can be. It comes but once a year, and oh, it's something to see.
Oh yeah, that's real good. Unfortunately, there's that giant scratch in the middle. It bums me out. And so I'm hoping that in the course of going through all this Cornet stuff, that we will find a print that's in better shape. Because that can't be fixed in post. We can fix color. We can fix little minor, tiny, black, thin scratches. But that, you notice it was green. So that's because the scratch was actually in the emulsion. The emulsion is the gel. It's literally gelatin that has dyes in it, and it ran I'm guessing it ran across a roller that was seized, and there was just dirt, and it just scraped. So what you see is with something like that, it's called an emulsion scratch. It's either green if it was color, or it's white if it's black and white. And sometimes with color, it's if it's a super deep scratch, then it is also white. So there you go. That's the geeking out part. This is Woodland Indians of Early America, the revised edition. Enjoy.
For years without number, my people lived in these forests. We are the Chippewa Indians, and we shared the land with the plants and animals, for they are the brothers and sisters of all of us. Our mother is the earth, and our father is the great spirit, Kishimanitu, the creator. There were many tribes of woodland Indians living here long before the first traders and settlers came from across the ocean. My people, the Chippewa, lived near the shores of the lake we call Gitchigumi. Today it is also called Lake Superior. More than 300 years ago, it was the beginning of the month of shining leaves, the autumn season when Chippewa families went from their villages to gather the wild rice that grows in shallow water. Every family had its own special place for gathering wild rice, and this family was just arriving at their special place. During the month of shining leaves, the women of the family usually gathered the wild rice and prepared it to last through the winter. The men usually went hunting so the family would have meat and animal skins. This father was teaching his two sons to be hunters. Their names were Quick Fox and Little Bear, but they were usually called older brother and younger brother. A person's name was very special, not often spoken aloud, because one had to be very careful with something as important as a name. The family had built a house called a wigwam, where they stayed while the wild rice was being gathered. They approached the wigwam quietly and carefully. It had been empty for almost a year, and a wild animal or an enemy might be hiding inside. Last autumn, the father had left behind some magic charms to protect the wigwam. It was safe now, and they could prepare to move in. There was still time before the sunset to go hunting. Older brother had his bow ready, and also his stone tomahawk. And younger brother had his bow and arrows and a knife with a sharp blade chipped from a piece of flint. Everything my people used and everything they ate came from the forest, or the land, or the water. They had baskets called makuks, which mother and sister made from the bark of the birch tree. Sister's name was really Bright Star. They always brought some food with them from their vegetable garden in the village. They had different kinds of squashes, and they had beans, and they also had root vegetables and corn. They would cook their food in a fire pit, but first the pit had to be cleaned out and made ready. And the wigwam had to be prepared for the night.
They had fine blankets made from deerskin. But the women's most important job was to begin gathering the wild rice and to try to catch some fish. They used fish hooks that the men had made from bone. In those days, gathering enough food was always important for my people, especially in autumn when they had to prepare for the long, cold winter. That was why Father and his two sons always asked the Good Spirit, a Manitou, to give them success on their hunt. The hunters had to think and move quickly and silently like the deer, making no sound that would frighten the animals. Younger brother saw something moving, and he was ready. But it was only a skunk, not good for food, and no one would kill an animal just for sport. They went on for a long time. Game was not easy to find, and a hunter had to learn to be patient. And then, near the big tree, a wild turkey. If the turkey moved toward him, older brother would be ready. And younger brother would help in another way. The turkey heard what seemed to be the gobbling of another turkey. The arrow had found its mark, but if the turkey were only wounded, it might still get away. No, the hunt was a success. Younger brother had done his job well, and there would be plenty of meat for the evening meal. Meanwhile, mother and sister had also been busy, gathering wild rice. Chippewa women used 2 sticks to harvest the rice, 1 stick to bend the plant stalks, and the other to beat off the grains. Mother used one of her baskets to catch most of the rice, but she let some grains fall into the water, so more rice would grow. Before very long, they had gathered a good supply of wild rice, and they also had the fish that sister caught as they moved across the lake. It was time to return to the wigwam to prepare the evening meal. The month of shining leaves was a time for my people to gather enough food to last through the coming winter. This family had made a good beginning. The turkey the hunters brought back could supply several useful things. The bones could be made into needles and fish hooks. The feathers could be used for head decorations. And of course, the turkey would also provide them with meat. And so, after sunset, there was a fine evening meal. The corn and beans that mother and sister had grown in their village garden, the wild rice they had harvested that day, and the turkey the hunters had brought back. Father was proud of what younger brother had done to make the hunt successful. And so, from that time on, younger brother could wear a feather of the turkey as a symbol of honor and a reminder of the hunt. In the days ahead, the hunters would work hard to find game, and the women would work hard to gather the wild rice. That is what our Chippewa families did long ago during the month of shining leaves when my people lived in the woodlands near the shores of Gitchagumi.
Yeah, so they obviously reuse footage that they shot in the 50s, and then they had new narration on top of it. And chances are the 50s version was not narrated by a Native American, so this is an update? I don't know. I have no idea. All right, what do we got? Yes. So this one, I know some people on the channel, in the comments, don't like films about NASA and about space, the space race, but this one is pretty special because it's animated and it's trying to engage the general public in why the space race is important. This is, and of course, you. Enjoy.
This film you're about to see is not about man's attempt to reach the moon, which is really not too difficult. All you need is a rocket, money, and man's wonderful brain power. This film is about the benefits of the space program. While meeting the objectives of the space program, space scientists and engineers are making new discoveries that will benefit you, and, of course, you. Within a half century, scientists have developed incredible things, such as the computer, television, the jet engine, radar, and atomic energy. And now, within 10 short years, the amazing accomplishment of exploring outer space. With the present rate of progress, not only could the moon be reached, but also Mars, Venus, Saturn, and who knows, the universe.
Yeah, but what about Earth? How will Earth benefit?
Ah, yes, our Earth.
That's right, you and me. Earth and people at sea. All kinds of people. Working, playing, mothers, fathers and children. People in the cities, people in the country.
All of these people will benefit from the space program.
Well, how?
Well, let's take weather satellites. Here, let me show you. There are half a
dozen satellites which provide global coverage daily, from 900 miles up, circling the Earth every 114 minutes, photographing the Earth's cloud cover automatically. Some of the satellites work at night, too.
Well, how can you see at night? With an infrared device, of course. Watch.
Hey, that's pretty good for night pictures. Well, how does it work during the day?
Well, let me stretch the world out first. There. Now then, there are over 300 picture receiving sets in 45 countries. Any country can build one of these sets and use the weather satellites.
Can I see one of those pictures?
Why not? It's completely automatic.
Gee, that's amazing. You mean all of us benefit from instant weather observation?
Absolutely. Look, satellites can track storms at sea and can warn a fisherman off the coast of Japan of impending danger. Satellites make flying safer by giving pilots more accurate route forecasts. Thus saving lives as well as property.
What did you say?
I said it'll rain right where you stand. It will then snow.
Thanks a lot.
Not only that, we may also be able to find oil.
Well, how can you know that?
Well, by just looking at the world from space, you can see these things. Follow me, I'll show you.
Gee, that's fantastic. It's unbelievable. I see Mexico. And look, why, that's Florida. Fantastic. There's Morocco and Algeria. Why, look, it's Iran and Tibet. I see Mother, but I don't see oil.
Well, we can't actually see oil, but by studying land formations and the changes in vegetation, we can approximate locations of oil and other minerals. And you want to know something else? Fish.
Oh, come on. You mean you can see fish, too?
Well, not exactly see them, but look here. Now, there are many ways that can be done. By special instruments, it may be possible to spot favorable water temperatures or plankton. And where you find these things, you could find fish.
I can't hold on. Whoop. That's a fresh fish.
Yes. Well, anyway, back to the globe. From a satellite, you should be able to map land faster and more accurately. Like mountains.
And valleys.
Yes. You'll know the Earth's surface like your own face.
Yes, indeed. Say, you know what?
No, what?
The Earth is too big for my head.
Yes, it is big.
What?
I say it's too big.
What?
I say it's too big.
What?
Hello? I say it's too big.
Oh, hey, where are you?
In another continent. We're communicating via satellite. There are 4 communication satellites covering 2/3 of the world.
Hello, Mother. Is that you, Mother? How's that?
Because of the communication satellites, people are getting more telephone service faster and cheaper.
All right, Mother. Goodbye now. Fascinating. Will wonders never cease?
And furthermore, we have intercontinental TV. Satellites are linking the United States with Asia and joining North and South America with Europe. A regional satellite could link a continent together by telephone and TV. Satellites can give us mass education. A. Instructions on farming, building and construction.
Ow!
In medicine, television by satellite may be able to contribute to diagnosing a patient's illness halfway around the world.
Isn't that a thumb?
Yes, it looks sore.
Upon studying your case, our diagnosis is you are suffering from a badly bruised thumb. We suggest your nurse bandage it.
The communications satellite will also provide entertainment and culture, and expanding our horizons as it shrinks our world.
Nice. Oh, by the way, we have navigation satellites. They permit ships to fix their location at any time, anywhere, in any weather.
You know, this outer space stuff is fantastic.
Space technology involves more than rockets and outer space.
What do you mean?
Get that light switch, will you?
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Let's see, where is that projector? Oh, here it is. You know, there are many byproducts from the space program, like new bath tile sealants, plastic railway cars, and fantastic heat-resistant paints.
What's that thing?
Some kind of moonwalker.
Moonwalker?
Yes, but it can also carry invalids.
Gee, that's a handy item.
One of the things that has benefited most from space technology is medicine.
Say, isn't that a Da Vinci?
Yes, it is. Telemetry units built for heart monitoring of astronauts are now used in hospitals. Sensitive heat-seeking devices and weather satellites have been modified to detect breast cancer at an early stage. And moon photography techniques may be able to improve the quality of medical x-rays for people.
How?
By using computers to bring out more detail.
Gee.
Also, monitoring devices developed for space are used for taking temperatures and blood pressures and pulses. You know, things nurses usually do.
Automatic nurses? I kind of like that one.
Me too. But we don't have many like her.
Oh, that's wild.
Science in this age will need more specialists, and the stimulus of the space age is developing thousands of new scientists, engineers, and technicians, all working together to continue serving mankind in the future.
You don't have to get carried away.
Sorry. Now, we also have to do what we can to increase the food supply.
Oh, you mean feeding them?
Yes. Satellites with special devices could take regular inventories of food supplies.
You mean they could tell a bad crop from a good one?
Yes. And satellites could spot fish schools. All this could eventually contribute to feeding all the world's hungry. By remote sensing techniques, we should be able to detect new mineral reserves, thus contributing to world plenty. And satellites should help us to detect fresh water sources, too.
Gee, that's a lot of good things. How many countries are involved in the space business?
The United States has cooperative arrangements with over 80 countries in space activities. Sharing space science and equipment.
We have ignition. All engines are running. We have liftoff. Eastern Standard Time. The top is clear. Top.
Tower clear, 15 seconds out. Program REM.
Well, that was all very nice. But where do we go from here?
Why, there's Mars and Venus and Jupiter, the whole universe, still to be explored.
Gee, that's wonderful. Where? What? Hey! Hey! Hey, wait for me!
So we have shown some other Murakami Wolf productions. They have made their way into libraries and schools. That was great. And there was a debate. I wasn't sure who the narrator was, and Sean called it Olin's Soul. What year was it? That's a good question. I can look it up real quick while we're talking. Let's see. This has got to be scintillating. Me looking up something on the National Archives site and see. But yeah, those lollipop head people, they were pretty great. Let's see. 1968. Yep, 1968. And it was made by the United States Information Agency, so it probably was not shown to Americans. It was probably shown to other folks, other countries, because this is straight up propaganda. But it's great propaganda. It looks really good. And so Alain Soul did, and he was a character actor. I thought it was Herbert Anderson because they have very similar voices. Herbert Anderson was the dad on Dennis the Menace, and shows up. He's a character actor. Shows up in so many TV shows. Olin Soul, same situation. He shows up in so many things, and did the voice of Batman in Super Friends cartoon, the Hanna-Barbera Super Friends cartoon, among other things. So, yes. Thanks for tuning in today. Very much appreciate you watching, your eyeballs, and your comments. Nathan, thank you so much for contributing the super thanks button. That's one way you can support us. Other ways you can support us are by hitting the thumbs up, the like button, watching other films that we've put online at the AV Geeks YouTube channel. You can also donate some moolah via ko-fi.com/avgeeks. Buy us some much needed coffee, or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are great ways as well. And just share what we're doing and tell folks what we're up to. So we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll see you soon. Take care.